Skyhawk Talk at Snappy Tomato Pizza. A big night here. We will say thanks to Darren McClure joining us here as we talk Skyhawk volleyball. Coach Jason Simpson joins us now. We'll talk UT Martin football. Coach puts the headset on. Your volume level okay?
No, I need it a little higher.
A little higher. Okay, you're deaf like me. That's a good
there we
thing.
go.
That's good. And the reason we always talk about this is because you wear those headsets on the sideline during the football game.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I could hear the TSU band. I've only got one ear covered, so I could hear them, quite vividly in the other ear.
Let's talk about that game. Disappointing loss, 35-30. But let's talk about the good part early. The first quarter, boy, you come out, throw 17 points on the board, and I thought at that point you might run away with it.
Well, yeah. Very proud of our team. We came out ready to play. The head coach, you always want to make sure your team's ready to play. Are they focused? And I certainly thought we were early, and we capitalized on some of their mistakes and, got the 17-point lead. And, at the end of the first quarter, we're in good shape.
Second quarter, they come back and score 14, including one going into the locker room at halftime, and they got the momentum back right there.
Yeah, they really did. They really did. They started running the football against us. They hit the little flea flicker, and they stuttered and go, our young freshman corner, and he bit on the fake, and that kind of got some momentum going for them right there. And they're so big up front. They really are. They do a nice job. And boy, we struggled defensive line-wise, not staying in our gaps. And, boy, we just gave up some big runs. Really did, uncharacteristic of us. And so, take your hat off to them, give them credit. They got back in the game. And, halftime, we're still up 17-14. But the point I was making to our team today was, we still had the lead at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't necessarily – the vibe in the locker room, I could feel it, and I was trying to change it. Obviously didn't do a very good job at it, but that, we had the mindset, oh my goodness, we just blew a 17-point lead, instead of, hey, we're still up by 3, they're a good football team, let's go out and win the second half, and you win the game. And so that's one thing we did not do a very good job of.
That gets lost, and I can see it. I was in the press box watching Tennessee State in that first quarter, and I could tell by their posture, their body language, the way they were standing together on the sideline. Mm-hmm. We were the opposite, very loose and into the game. And then it all started to change, as you said, in the second and third quarter. And I know that, when I ask a coach how important is it mentally what's going on when you look at someone's body language, it makes a big difference.
Oh, the older I get, the longer I'm in coaching. I mean, that's something that we talk about a lot. My son, Ty gets after me all the time because that's something I'm constantly saying is your body language. Because that lets me know how much energy you have, how much focus you have, how disgusted you are, with whether it be a call by your coach, call by the official, and you don't have time to do that, especially in a game of football. I mean, every 40 seconds, right, another ball's being snapped, and you've got to focus on the next play. And I think really, to TSU's credit, by the end of the first quarter, the band's kind of settled. The it's kind
more
of,
fans are there.
It's a late arriving crowd,
yeah.
And once they got a little momentum going, and they got settled into the game, they were able to fight their way back in and and take the lead and get the win.
If you actually feel momentum, you felt it shift. Although it was a tremendous game in the second half, and let's just take it to the last the end of the fourth quarter there, Coach, where you had a chance to come back and win. Onside kick to perfection.
It was, and Jordan Hankins, our specialty. We were good on kickoff the whole night. I mean, I think the first 3 we pinned them inside like the 11-yard line and got a fumble and set up a score. So.
Which, after the Mississippi State game, you wanted special teams to play better.
Well, and we did as far as on the kickoff unit and did not on the kickoff return. We, once again, in 3 games have not filled the kickoff clean. And can't change the field. So disappointed in that unit. We're going to have to make some changes.
Yeah, and the wind was blowing at least 25 miles an hour.
Well,
I'm not making excuses.
Not as much probably was at Mississippi State, though. Mississippi State
true.
was blowing pretty good. Mm-hmm. But those guys practice that every day, and a lot of it has to do with just, you got to be a special guy to go back there. You really do. So getting back to the game, the special teams, the onside kick, we practice that, twice a week, and Satterfield and Cody Sandlin. Cody Sandlin actually recovered the onside kick.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because we had 2 kickers there, and you don't know which way we're kicking it.
Mm-hmm.
Kicking to the left, kicking to the right. So Cody fakes like he's kicking to the left. Satterfield comes across, kicks it to the right. Does a great job, gets the big hop. Quentin Sims couldn't get it. He bats it up in the air. And Cody Sandlin, who's faking the kick, is kind of the safety and comes around, gets in the mix, and comes up with a. He always has wanted to play offense or defense, and he got his chance on that play.
All of the momentum was our way then, and ultimately the game ended as we couldn't complete the drive and get into the end zone. Now, again, I don't want to criticize the officials. Questionable calls. We saw it in the booth. Obviously, you were unhappy. You've gone back and watched it on film. You've always laid it out like it's supposed to be. So what do you see on the film?
Well, there's a lot of defensive holding. I mean, there is, and it's just the defense they played was 2-man, okay, which is 2 high safeties, and in passing situations, everybody else is man underneath coverage. So you're having to run a lot of crossing routes and rub routes to be able to get yourself clean. Because if you just run down the field and throw the ball up in the air, there's 2 safeties that don't have responsibility for anybody that are just free. So as we hit a couple of them, as you saw come across the middle, the defenders were grabbing Shiver, not let him come across and create those rubs. And
was that happening all night, or was it more so at the end of the game?
No, it's at the end of the game and stuff. And I think such a big thing has been made throughout the year because all these games have been close.
Yeah.
You know, we've lost 3 games by 9 points, and the officials do not want to. Early in the year there were some flags thrown, and I didn't necessarily. They didn't go our way, and so now it's like the flags are going back in the pockets, and we needed them at this point. I needed them to be out there because they give you first downs. We ended the game with 2 minutes left for 1:55, but we didn't convert a 4th and 5. And so those are giving you first downs, and once you get inside that 20-yard line, now you get 4 opportunities at the end zone with some tall receivers that we have. So disappointing to end the game like that, really was.
And I thought we were going to win. I mean, I felt that everything was clicking up until that point.
Well, the law of averages eventually work in your favor.
Yeah.
And we lost the Tennessee Tech game like that. We lost the Jacksonville State game like that. So you're hoping that you can can create that last minute pull out win. Now you got to get that 2-point conversion that cut it to a field goal, and then that way, maybe you're kicking a field goal. We're probably still too far out of field goal range at that point, but your calls are a little bit differently if you're just trying to play to a tie and get it to overtime.
Yeah, and coaches say too, we shouldn't be in that situation where an official's call is not going to make a difference. But the league, coach, has been so close this year to the point where as we move forward, there's a potential 6-way tie for first place in the LVC.
Go back to Tennessee State. Tennessee State was up 24-6 on Austin Peay.
Right.
And turned the ball over in just a freakish game. Or they're playing for the conference championship this week because right now they're 4-3. But they'd been 5-2 and to play Jacksonville State for the conference championship. So they're very capable. They had a lot of spots. We didn't match up very well. They're very big up front, very
Let's
strong.
talk. You said that. You told me that. You talked about it on the pregame show. You said it again. You said it again. I thought, okay, they got size. And then I saw those guys. And I don't think you call them big humans.
Yeah.
But those were some of the biggest guys I've ever seen in my life.
No, they were. They're bigger than Mississippi State's offensive line. And Rod Reed, the head coach, has done a nice job. They struggled last year, didn't win a game in the conference, and but they put in some key pieces, and some of their younger players have gotten older, gotten bigger, and they've done a good job.
How can you be 5'10" and 380?
I tell you what, that offensive line now was 6'7", 6'6", 6'5", 6'4". There were some tall men, and they did a nice job. They're well coached too. That was probably the best coached Tennessee State team in my 5 years of coaching it.
Right, and they did obviously clock management at the end of the game, but I really thought that they turned the corner after halftime.
They did a nice job. They did. Take your hat off to them.
Okay, let's talk about the standings now in the league. That puts Tech at 5-2, Eastern Kentucky's 5-2, Jacksonville State's 5-2. Murray, UT Martin, and Tennessee State all 4-3. So if this scenario happens, hold on, I don't want to mess this up. If EKU, Tennessee Tech, and Jacksonville State lose, UT Martin, Murray, and Tennessee State win, there will be a 6-way tie for first place regular season standings. Is that right?
Yeah. Does Murray got to beat SEMO, right? So 4 teams have to win for the big 6-way?
Well, UT Martin, Murray, and Tennessee State.
So 3 of them.
3 have to win, and the other 3 have to lose. Now, we're playing Eastern Kentucky, so that would happen. And then you got the Murray.
So Tech does not have to lose?
Tech would have to lose.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Eastern Kentucky, Tech, and Jacksonville State have to lose.
Right.
UT Martin, Tennessee State, and Murray have to win.
And I think the biggest stretch of that, if you put the favorites out on, you would say that I think Tennessee State actually would probably be even against Jacksonville State at home. After the way Tennessee State played against us.
And then Jacksonville almost got beat at Southeast Missouri.
Exactly. So I would think, if you were out in Vegas right now, you'd say, maybe even or Tennessee State even, +1 probably at the worst. So I think Tennessee State probably is favored in that game. Murray obviously favored over SEMO. I imagine I'm sure we are an underdog going to EKU. We've never in the history of our program won in Richmond at EKU. But the biggest one will be Austin Peay going to Tennessee Tech. I don't know. Tennessee Tech's playing well. They just beat EKU on the road. They're at home, so I don't know if Austin Peay that'll be a tough challenge for them.
We talked about the balance in the league. You said there are a lot of good quarterbacks in this league, and that makes a difference.
There is. That's why the scoring's so much up. I mean, look at it. We're 440-something yards a game, which normally would get you into probably the top 6 in the country in total offense, and I think we're 11th. Out of 120-something teams. So it's definitely a scoring year. It goes in cycles like that.
Tell me about Eastern Kentucky this Saturday in the game plan.
Boy, they're good. They're well coached. Dean Hood. Dean was the defensive coordinator at Wake Forest during that Orange Bowl run.
Oh,
he's very X and O savvy. Very hard to prepare for. They're a 3-4 defense, but they play a lot of 4-man structures defense. A lot of blitzing. And it looks like blitzes, but they're really just kind of moving their front. So it gives you a lot of communication issues, and so very good in the secondary. They got an All-American corner, number 14, Caldwell, an outstanding player. So they create a lot of problems on defense, or offense versus their defense. The last several years they haven't been that potent offensively, but now after they lost Austin Peay, they quit spreading out, and they pretty much just get in 21 personnel. And the running back is leading the league and with 1,300 yards rushing. So I think he's got like 4 or 5, at least 4 200-yard games. And so that's going to be the challenge, is to stop the run. And then when you do that, their quarterback is potent enough. I think there's been a couple games where he's thrown for 300 or run for some yards himself. So it's a huge challenge for us. It will be a very difficult environment to go in, because they're trying to win to tie. To tie Tennessee Tech, at least co-champions, and then have a chance to get that large bid. But at worst, fitting for a ring next week.
Importantly, for us to have a chance to be a co-champion, why is this game so important for you?
It's another brick, into the footing that we're trying to establish here. When you say you've never beat a team before, I mean, that's sometimes hard to understand.
The word never should not be in that equation.
At some point in your career, somebody should have beat them. But we had never beat them up till last year. We had never won at EIU. So to have a chance to go and to break that streak in Richmond is huge. It gets you to another 5-3, winning season in the OVC. Gets you to a 6-5 overall record, another winning season. So, it's not our ultimate goals by any means. Our goals are to win the conference championship. Will we take a 6-way tie? Sure, we will. I mean, that's our best option right now. So it's a big game on many levels.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. We'll see you Saturday.
Appreciate you guys.
Coach Jason Simpson. We'll come back with Coach Kevin McMillan when we return. Skyhawk Talk from Snappy Tomato Pizza on the Skyhawk Sports Network.